When DianSheng released their new 7x7, a lot of people, including myself, were really surprised with how well it performed. And it got me thinking, how does this 7x7 compare to its full-sized counterparts? So today we're going to take a look at a few categories and see if this mini cube can make it to the big leagues. Each cube on our list will be ranked in 3 categories. The first is features. This includes things like ball cores, UV coating, or any other hardware that a cube has to offer. The more it has, the more points it'll receive. Next is performance. This will cover corner cutting, speed, lockups, and how often it pops. And last is pricing. Simply put, can the cube justify the cost? Each cube can earn up to 10 points in each category for a potential total of 30 points. As for the cubes on our list, we have the DianSheng Mini 7x7, of course, the MGC, X-Man Spark V2, the MoYu MeiLong V2, the AoFu WRM, and AoFu V5. And to start off our comparison, we have the DianSheng Mini 7x7. For features, this cube comes with the standard edge to corner magnets, along with core magnets, a really nice semi-gloss exterior, and a compact size of 56mm, which is the same size as a normal 3x3. And honestly, really impressive to see a 7x7 this small with modern day features. It's still lacking some stuff, but it's still impressive nonetheless, which gives the DianSheng Mini 7x7 a 6. For performance, this cube is very stable and has a pretty good speed to it, but it was a little tight out of the box, and once I loosened it slightly, it became quite a bit faster and it really didn't lose any stability. The corner cutting is pretty standard for 7x7, and lockups along with misalignments honestly haven't been that bad. I haven't had a situation where any of the pieces have popped out, and 99% of misalignments are so small that I can pretty easily push everything back into place, and just in general, they don't occur that often. For this category, it receives a 7. Now for pricing. This cube comes in at $32.95, and given all of its features and performance and crazy small size, I think it's almost the perfect price. So the DianSheng Mini 7x7 will receive 9 points, giving us a grand total of 22 points. Definitely a strong showing from the DianSheng Mini, but let's move on to our next cube and see how it compares. Next on our list is the MGC. For features, this cube comes with the standard edge to corner magnets and a glossy exterior. And that's pretty much it. There's not really much else to it. It's very basic, very bare bones, but when it was released about 5 years ago, that was all you needed. But in today's terms, it's just a little lacking. So it'll receive a 4 for features. And for performance, we can see this cube is very flexible, catches quite a bit, and the speed is okay, but it's not quite as fast as the other cubes on our list. But despite this, it doesn't really misalign or pop all too often. It is a bit more frequent than other 7x7s, but it's not a constant issue. But for corner cutting, it seems to be a pretty normal amount, but sometimes it does feel like it's on the verge of popping, and tightening it just makes the corner cutting worse, and it really doesn't help prevent popping all that much. And now this isn't to say that everything about this cube is bad, it just doesn't keep up with modern 7x7s. Back 5 years ago when it first came out, this was actually a really solid cube, but the MGC will still get a 5 for performance. And when it comes to pricing, this cube comes in at $35.95, which is more expensive than the DianSheng Mini. When this cube was released in 2022, the price would be a bit more justifiable, but the features and performance have come a long way in 5 years, so the MGC is still going to get a 5 for pricing, bringing our grand total to 14 points. Up next, the X-Man Spark V2. The features for this cube include edge to corner magnets, of course, along with core magnets and a very slight gloss exterior. Keeping things short and sweet, this cube will get a 5.5 for features. And performance for this cube is not bad, but nothing amazing either. The turning speed is a bit slow, and it feels like it requires more force than other 7x7s to turn, even when I loosen the tensions. The corner cutting, at least, is pretty consistent with the others on this list, but like the MGC, sometimes it feels like the pieces just want to pop out. I will say I haven't had any popping issues yet, but there have been times when I've gotten some pretty bad misalignments that required me to remove some of the pieces to get the cube back to normal. I think that's partially due to the fact that the magnets don't seem to be as strong and work as well as other cubes. It doesn't seem to want to keep everything aligned, which is disappointing, especially since this cube has core magnets. But I can still get some decent times on this cube. It's just the performance isn't quite where you'd want it to be. So the Spark V2 is going to get a 3.5 for performance. And it really doesn't get any better when it comes to pricing. The cube comes in at $48.95, and though it does have the added feature of core magnets, doesn't really make up for the poor performance. So it'll get a 4 for pricing, giving us a total of 13 points. And now that we've reached our halfway point, here are the current standings. We have the DianSheng Mini 7x7 in first, followed by the MGC in second, and the Spark V2 in third. But we still have 3 more cubes to look at, so let's see if any of them will crack the top 3, or maybe even beat the DianSheng Mini for first place. Next up is the MoYu MeiLong V2. For features, this cube is pretty similar to the MGC in the sense that it doesn't have all that much. You've got the edge to corner magnets, and that's it. No core magnets, UV or glossy exterior. It's just a very basic 7x7. So it'll receive a 2.5 for features. As for performance, this cube is fairly stable and it does catch a bit. The speed is all right, but the inner layers are notably more sluggish than the others. But the overall turning feel is quite nice, and it doesn't feel like I'm gonna have any major misalignments or any popping issues. For corner cutting, it seems to be pretty much on par with everything we've seen so far at about 1.5 pieces, and overall a really solid performing 7x7. So the MeiLong will get a 7 for performance. Now for pricing, this cube is pretty reasonable, coming in at $19.95. While this cube may be lacking in a few features, it definitely makes up for it in performance and cost. But I think if it was just a few dollars cheaper, it would be a perfect 10. But at $20, the MeiLong will receive a 9, bringing the grand total to 18.5. Next up is the AoFu WRM. Once again, we have a 7x7 without a whole lot of features, but it does have a slight semi-gloss exterior along with the edge and corner magnets. And keeping this section brief, the AoFu WRM gets a 3.5 for features. Onto performance, this cube has a great balance between stability and flexibility. The cube retains its shape really well, which makes algorithm execution feel great, and the flexibility allows for the cube to not lock up on every slight misalignment. The speed is exactly where I'd want it, fast enough to keep up with my turning, but not so fast that it's uncontrollable or overshooting everywhere. And for corner cutting, it seems to be the same, if not slightly better than others on this list. My only issue that I've had with this cube is that it does have occasional pops, but never anything major. All that together gives the AoFu WRM a 9. And now pricing is where this cube might fall behind a bit. The cube comes in at $49.95, which is a fairly high price, but you are getting one of the best 7x7s on the market. It's just lacking in a couple of features by today's standards. Overall, a really great cube, but it will receive a 7.5 for pricing, giving us a grand total of 20 points. The last 7x7 on our list is the AoFu V5. Now, there are a couple of different versions of this cube, but I've decided to go with the double track version as it's the closest to the DianSheng Mini. If you want to learn more about the different versions of this cube, check out our AoFu V5 review. There will be a link down in the description below. Getting back on track, for features, the double track has the edge to corner magnets, of course, a ball core, also known as core magnets, but no glossy or UV exterior. It does have a slightly smaller than average size, coming in at about 62 millimeters, which does offer some extra stability to the cube. With that, the AoFu V5 gets a 5.5 for features. And onto performance, this cube has a really nice stable feel, but it's not quite as flexible as its predecessor, the WRM. Thankfully, the ball core helps with layer alignment, so there's not nearly much of a need to have that added flexibility. This also helps against popping and misalignment, and while it doesn't completely prevent it from occurring, it does make it pretty rare. The speed is definitely on the faster side and is right on the edge of being uncontrollable, but I think it's just something that'll take time getting used to, considering that most other 7x7s just aren't as fast as other modern day cubes like 3x3s, 4x4s, and 5x5s. And when it comes to corner cutting, it is a little lacking, being just a bit less than the others on this list. But again, the cube is fairly accurate thanks to the ball core, so the slight decrease in corner cutting ability just isn't that big of a deal. And all that together will give it a 9.5 for performance. And as for pricing, this is the most expensive cube on our list, coming in at $59.95. The cube does have excellent performance and some good features, but asking nearly $60 is still quite a bit. There are definitely some other 7x7s on this list that are really solid and a fair bit cheaper, but this is the highest ranked cube in performance. Overall, this cube earned an 8 for pricing, bringing the AoFu V5 to a total of 23 points, just barely beating out the DianSheng Mini 7x7, which now makes our top 3 the AoFu WRM in 3rd place, the DianSheng Mini 7x7 in 2nd, and the AoFu V5, our winner, in 1st place. And with that, we've reached the end of our video. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe, and be sure to leave a comment down below letting us know your thoughts on our ranking. Do you agree, disagree, felt we left something out? Let us know in the comments. But with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.